That's speaking.
Hijo, ¿dónde está la llave?
Mira, that's
We're
what
just
that
going
is.
from an iPhone.
Yes.
What's your name?
My name's Raleigh Alfaro. I'm Maria's nephew.
This is Maria Trevino.
Yes.
Who just joined, identified as Zoom user. Hello,
Hello,
what's your name?
Alexiana Kane. I'm trying to fix it. Sorry.
Morning, is it Eric Lixie?
Yes.
You're here for the case for Maria Trevino for the interpreter, right?
Yes, I am.
Am I supposed to be in this call?
Yeah, I have you checked in. I'm just gonna put you on mute until the judge is ready to call your case, okay?
Okay.
Who's identified as Pierre's iPhone?
Yes.
What's your name? What's your name?
Pierre Summers?
Mr. Summers, can you take your hat off, sir?
Yes. Todo pasó allá. Sí. Y esa estaba. Ok, con country. Ese es lo que peleamos.
Yeah, okay. Let's go see Mickey Mouse. Let's go see Mickey Mouse.
No pagan con el dinero que viene.
Good afternoon. Who just dialed in on the phone number ending in 9310?
That is Tammy Salazar.
Ms. Salazar, do you have the ability to dial in with video?
Excuse me?
Can you log in using video so that Judge Simmons can see you?
Okay, okay, let me try. Let me hang up and then try.
Okay.
Okay. We have an interpreter here for Trevino. Let's see, is it Renner? It's supposed to be Attorney Renner, it's supposed to be on the matter of the city of Lansing versus Maria Trevino.
Denise Baker appearing on behalf of plaintiff for that matter, please.
Baker?
Yes,
Okay. Okay, and I'm looking for the interpreter. Is it Eric Lixie?
Yes, Judge.
Oh, thank you. Sorry. of the city of Lansing, Michigan versus Maria Trevino. This is file number 22-00169 GCB. Council manager, your appearance.
Yes, good morning.
Nos-
Denise Baker appearing on behalf of plaintiff.
Abogado Baker, compareciendo a favor de la demandante.
Record. Can the interpreter state his name for the record?
Eric Lixie.
Thank you, Mr. Lixie. Can I have you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear to interpret in the matter now before the court and not divulge confidential communication, so help you God.
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Baker, would you need to go into a private meeting room with Ms. Trevino to try to complete the pretrial statement?
Señora Baker, ¿necesita reunirse en una salita con la señora Trevino antes de la audiencia?
I have no objections to that, Your Honor.
No, no me opongo a eso, su señoría.
Okay, I will put you all in a private meeting room. Can you put them in a private meeting room, please?
Entonces le vamos a poner todos en una salita.
I apologize in advance. We have some protesters outside, so you may hear honking. Okay. Mr. Lee needs to be brought back. Alexandria Kane or Alexandria Kane?
Yes, I'm here.
Privately?
If I could, please, Your Honor.
Okay, can you put some in a private meeting room? Are we ready on Mr. Leek, Ms. O'Boyle?
I am.
Yes, we are, Your Honor.
We're on the record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Brandon Lee. File number is 21-02789. OT, council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amanda O'Boyle appearing on behalf of the city of Lansing.
Thank you. And Mr. Leek, you are proceeding without counsel today, is that correct?
I am.
Okay, I see here that you did previously request court-appointed counsel, but that you were denied because you are not considered indigent. You met privately with the assistant city attorney. How are we proceeding on this matter, Ms. O'Boyle?
Thank you, Your Honor. I did have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Leek in a breakout room, and I do believe we've reached a resolution in this matter. At this time, the city understands that Mr. Leek will be pleading responsible to the crime of failure to stop an ID after a property damage accident. And in exchange, the city would be dismissing counts 2 through 4 in this matter.
Guilty to count 1?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, you said plead responsible, so I want to make sure he's clear that this is not a civil infraction. Do you understand that, Mr. Leek?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the offers for you to plead guilty to count 1, the city would move to dismiss the remaining count. If your count 1 plea is entered. You want to accept that offer, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. You can put your hand down. Mr. Leek, you have the right to be represented by counsel. You did request court-appointed counsel, but you were not granted because you're not considered indigent. You elected to represent yourself here today. You have the right to proceed to trial, and you have the right to have a jury trial on this matter. At the time of trial, you have the right to remain silent and have silence be used against you. You have the right to be presumed innocent, and you have the right to have the prosecutor bring sufficient evidence to prove each element of the charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand those rights so far?
Yes, ma'am.
By pleading guilty today, you would be giving up those rights in addition to giving up the right to question or cross-examine any of the witnesses the prosecution intends to call. You will give the right to call your own witness or present evidence that you believe would further a defense to the charge. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
You also will give up the right to make a claim later that you pled guilty because you were under duress. Is anybody making any promises to you to get you to waive your rights and plead guilty today?
No, ma'am.
Anybody threatening you to get you to waive your rights and plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
And are you pleading guilty to the charge because you believe you are guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
As to count one, a failure to stop an ID after property damage accident, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Okay, so on or about
Wednesday.
October 15, 2022, or was it October 26? On or about October 16, 2020, were you operating a motor vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you operating in the area of North MLK and Shiawassee, West Shiawassee?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you engaged or involved in a property damage accident?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And did you stop and identify yourself after having that accident?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you later have contact with law enforcement?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is North MLK and West Shiawassee in the city of Lansing?
Yes, ma'am.
That's in Ingham County, state of Michigan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, any questions, Ms. Boyle?
No, Your Honor, the city is satisfied with the factual basis on the record. Thank you.
Thank you. The court is also satisfied with the factual basis. I'll accept your plea. Find your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. The remaining count will be dismissed and your fine is $100. When can you make payment, sir?
Friday.
Okay, you can either make payment online at the court website, or you can come up in person and make payment, okay?
Okay.
Do you have any questions, sir?
Nope, that's it.
You're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Keithley, are we ready to proceed?
I am ready with Ms. Kane, Your Honor.
We're on the record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Alexandria Capri Kane, file number 21-03408. Council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amanda O'Boyle appearing on behalf of the city of Lansing.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. James Keithley, Assistant Public Defender, appearing on behalf of Ms. Kane, who is present via Zoom.
Thank you. Today's the date that is set for a free trial and a driving unlicensed. How are we proceeding on this matter?
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, we would be requesting a 30-day adjournment for Ms. Kane to work on getting her license.
June 27th. June 27th at 9 a.m. Do you have any questions today, Ms. Kane?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Any additional matters for the record?
Say that again?
Any additional matters for the record?
No, ma'am.
Nothing.
Okay, you're all set. Thank
Your Honor,
Thank
just
you.
to be clear, was that June 27th?
Yes, 2/7.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. I have nothing
Thank
further
you.
for the record.
Thank you.
June 27th at 9 a.m.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Am I able to leave?
You may. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a lot. Okay. Francisco Santiago.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Keith, is your office representing him at all on this?
I am, Your Honor.
Okay, did you need to speak to him?
I have already spoken to him, Your Honor. We are ready to proceed. It is going to be a plea.
Mr. Duma, are you having a hearing or you want to have a hearing? Okay. You have a lawyer?
Well, I tried to obtain one. He said that he wouldn't.
Okay, I'm not clear on that. We'll go on the record in just a moment. We're on the record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Francisco Javier Santiago. File number 21-03312 OM. Council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amanda O'Boyle appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. James Keithley, Assistant Public Defender, appearing on behalf of Francisco Santiago, who is present via Zoom.
A probation violation hearing. Mr. Keith, you indicate that there will not be a hearing that he wishes to plead guilty.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Is arraigned on violation testing at Reality Counseling on March 14th, 2022, March 23rd, 2022, and April 4th, 2022, and violation number 17 that he failed to enroll in outpatient substance abuse counseling at Reality Counseling. And he would like to plead guilty to both of those.
That is my understanding.
Mr. Santiago,
Pardon me?
want to plead guilty to both of those violations that I just read?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. You can put your hand down, sir. Okay, Mr. Santiago, you're represented by Mr. Keithley from the Office of the Public Defender, but you have the right to have a contested hearing today on the alleged violations of your probation status. You have the right to have the city attorney's office and the probation officers bring sufficient evidence to establish whether or not you violated the terms as alleged in this summons for probation violations. If you are found to be guilty or if you plead guilty to the violations, you're subject to increased sanctions. You can be sentenced to a term of jail time. You can have your probation status extended, or I can alter it and give you additional sanctions or programming. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
And you wish to waive your right to the contested hearing today to plead guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anybody making any promises to you to get you to waive your right and plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Is anybody threatening you to get you to waive your right and plead guilty?
No, ma'am.
Are you pleading guilty because you believe you're guilty of the violations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, as to violation number 15, that you failed to submit to random testing at Reality Counseling back on March 14th, March 23rd, and April 5th, 2022. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Then as to violation number 7, that you failed to enroll in outpatient substance abuse counseling at Reality, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Have a factual basis.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Santiago, as part of your probation, you're supposed to be doing testing, right?
Correct.
And you're supposed to be testing at Reality Counseling?
Correct.
And did you fail to test on the dates of March 14th, March 23rd, and April 5th?
Yes, I did.
And additionally, as part of your probation, you're supposed to enroll in outpatient substance abuse counseling at Reality Counseling, right?
Correct.
And as of the date of this violation, specifically being April 13th of this year, had you enrolled in outpatient substance abuse counseling through Reality Counseling?
Yes, I am enrolled.
Had you enrolled as of April 13th?
I believe so.
At the time this violation was issued, had you enrolled at that point? I understand you're saying you are enrolled now, but at the time the violation was issued.
No, I wasn't.
All right. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
From the city. Okay, and so, you know, the court is satisfied factual basis. I'll accept your plea, finding your plea to be made freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. The recommendation of the probation department is to continue your probation, but to extend it by 2 months. There is a concern, sir, that you do not want to be compliant with probation. Is that your position, sir?
No, it's not. I just had a newborn April 11th. I'm on unemployment right now. I've been in like complete chaos for like the past month. And I have like, I suffer from anxiety and panic attacks. So like I'm just trying to like get everything organized and stay around. So sometimes I just forget, you know, I'm not trying to break the law. I'm just trying to take care of my kid and try to follow through with what I'm doing with you guys.
Okay, well, congratulations on the new baby.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hopefully you'll get better organized and situated. I'm sure that that's a lot of transition for you, sir, but you still have a responsibility as part of your probation status. And you want to be compliant with the law and the orders of the court so that you can be the best parent that you can be, don't you think?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to adopt the recommendation of probation. I'm going to extend your probation by 2 months. You're going to continue probation, and you need to get started with testing. They are requesting for me to increase your frequency of testing to 3 months, 3 times per month. I'm not going to do that at this time just because based on the circumstances, I can see how you may have gotten off track. I don't think that sending you out 3 times a month at this point is going to be helpful for you to try to navigate all that you got going on, okay? I just need you to be doing the testing that you should have been doing beforehand. It sounds like you're now enrolled, is that correct?
Correct.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am, I do not.
Any additional matters for the record?
Nothing for the city room.
I was only going to point out to the court at this point, as I understand it, he is testing as ordered and is enrolled, so I have nothing further to add, Your Honor.
Good, thank you. You're all set for today, Mr. Santiago.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, you're welcome. I see that Mr. Baker has returned. Ms. Baker, were you all able to complete a pretrial statement?
Yes, I believe, Your Honor. The plaintiff did file a proposed pretrial statement. Is the court in possession of that?
We are in possession of that.
So to the issues, I believe that the only thing the defendants wanted to add is whether being unconscious prevented her from entering into the contract.
La única cosa que querían agregar es por el hecho de que estar inconsciente, si eso impedía que ella entrara de manera voluntaria en un contrato.
Is that correct, Ms. Trevino?
Señora Trevino, ¿eso es cierto?
Yes.
Okay.
And then neither party wanted to make any amendments to the pleadings.
Y ninguna de las dos partes querían modificar las declaraciones.
No.
I did explain. Sorry.
Is that correct, Ms. Trevino?
¿Es cierto, señora Trevino?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she doesn't want to make any additional statements. If that was the question, she's having a little bit of problems hearing.
Okay. She doesn't want to make any additional statements on these pretrial? Is that what you're saying, sir?
Entonces, en estos formularios antes de juicio, ella no quiere hacer ninguna declaración adicional, ¿verdad?
No.
No.
Very good. Ms. Baker?
I did explain to them about filing a motion for summary disposition, and that was agreed upon.
Y le expliqué cómo presentar un pedimento para un fallo sumario y estaban de acuerdo.
Yes.
Yes.
Did the court want to enter a date on when that needed to be filed by?
¿Quería poner una fecha límite para presentar ese pedimento? ¿Su señoría?
Is that something we do? Is that something we're going to, are we going to receive something in the mail to send that back, or do we go to the court to do this?
Based on what we're discussing now, you'll get a scheduling order from the civil clerk's office.
You can just schedule a date. That would be fine.
Okay, well, that's what the court is going to kick out a scheduling order. I have here that you all want the discovery to end by the 30th of June. Is that correct?
Tengo aquí que ustedes quieren terminar la revelación de pruebas a más tardar el 30 de junio. ¿Eso es cierto?
Yeah, that's fine. See?
Sí.
Yes.
Your Honor, could we extend that to maybe July 15th? When I filed this statement, the original pretrial was April 25th. So I know that matter was adjourned. So if we could extend it out to maybe July 15th for discovery.
Sí, podríamos postergar el límite de revelación de pruebas hasta el 15 de julio, porque originalmente hubo una audiencia el 25 de abril cuando presenté esa fecha, pero eso no hicimos la audiencia en esa fecha, ¿no? Sí, podríamos extenderlo hasta el 15 de julio, por favor.
Sí.
Yes.
Summary ending July 15th. I'm going to set dates for summary disposition 1 month out from that. They should be filed no later than August 15th.
Entonces, está bien la revelación de pruebas a más tardar el 15 de julio y voy a poner la fecha límite para el fallo sumario un mes después. Entonces, la fecha límite para presentar eso sería el 15 de agosto.
August 15th?
August 15th.
July 15th.
August 15th for filing a motion for summary disposition. July 15th is the deadline for discovery, okay?
El 15 de julio es el último día para presentar pruebas y el 15 de agosto es la última fecha para presentar un pedimento para un fallo sumario.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Baker, anything else to change?
Everything else is accurate. Neither party will be calling an expert witness. This is a bench trial and the possibility of settlement. I did put medium likelihood, but they didn't want to offer anything at this point.
Entonces, ninguno de los dos va a llamar un testigo perito y esto es para ser un juicio ante un juez, no ante jurado, y quizás hay una posibilidad de llegar a un acuerdo mutuo, pero hoy día no querían presentar nada en cuanto a eso.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ms. Trevino, do I have your authority to sign your name to this document, or did you want to add anything else to the pretrial statement?
¿Tengo su permiso, señora Trevino, para firmar su nombre en este documento o usted quería agregar algo más a este documento?
She says you can just add her signature. You have her approval.
Okay. Okay, I'll sign and date it for today, and then you'll get a copy of a scheduling order based on this, okay?
Entonces lo voy a firmar y poner la fecha de hoy y después usted va a recibir una copia de la orden estableciendo las fechas.
Do you have any questions?
¿Alguna
No.
pregunta?
No,
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lixie.
thank you. Gracias.
De nada.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Thank you, Ms. Elixir.
Thank you, Judge.
Interesting. Okay. Ms. Trevino, you're free to go.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Swisher, you're here for the matter with Richard Ressler.
Yes. Rashar, I believe is her name. Yes, I'm here before Douglas J.
I don't see anyone entitled by that name. Who's on the iPhone 3?
Rashar Ressler.
Okay, thank you. You could
Yes,
rename
ma'am.
her. Okay, and Mr. Bucchio, you're here on the matter with Tammy Salazar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need to go in a private meeting room at all?
I don't think so, Your Honor. Last I heard from Ms. Salazar, she made her position clear. She's looking for a little bit more time. So I'm not sure there's anything else to discuss. So I think we can move forward with the record on this.
Okay, well, I'm going to finish my criminal matters first, and then we'll get to that, okay?
Thank you.
Is anyone here by the name of Pierre Summers? Mr. Summers, can you unmute, please?
I'm here, Your Honor. Sorry, I was muted.
No problem. Okay, who's representing Mr. Summers?
Your Honor, Mr. Summers did apply for a court-appointed attorney. However, he was determined to be not indigent.
Interesting. It says church on.
Determined to what? They told me I was good and they would be here, but and that all I had to do was like my new license and stuff.
Mr. Summers? Mr.
Yes,
Summers,
ma'am.
Please don't just start speaking out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
It looks like you were previously represented by the Public Defender's Office in 2020. But they had to do a new intake because you had been in warrant status for so long and you've been denied representation by their office at this time, okay?
Okay.
So I'll put you in a private meeting room with someone from the city unless you want an opportunity to go and hire counsel, and I'll give you a new date if that's what you want.
No, Your Honor, I just ready to get this over.
Your Honor, it's going to be a dismissal. I have reviewed the Secretary of State record, which shows that Mr. Summers has a valid license if we simply want to go on record.
Okay, well, no, we don't need to go on the record. If you're moving to dismiss, that's all I need to hear.
All right.
She's moving to dismiss. You're all set, Mr. Summers.
Thank you so much.
Okay, and then Jacob Tucker. I don't see anyone here by the name of Jacob Tucker. Who are all these people? Okay, Mr. Keithy, are you representing Tucker?
I am, Your Honor. I have not heard from Mr. Tucker.
Okay, I'll issue a bench warrant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. On the record, and you can come up to the table here. On the record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Akuta Chiduma, file number 20-02080. Your appearance from the city.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amanda O'Boyle appearing on behalf of the city of Lansing.
Thank you. And today, ma'am, you can state your name for the record. Thank you. Today was the date that was set for a hearing for a probation violation. I just need to gain some clarity. Do you or do you not have attorney retained for today?
I do not.
Okay. So you want to proceed with the hearing? You're going to represent yourself, ma'am? Okay. So we'll have the probation officer be made aware so that we can prepare for your hearing, okay? Okay. You can have a seat. We'll go off the record because they may, I don't know if they're going to log in or come up in person, okay? Okay, I see Amanda Duncan.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see Amanda Duncan. I'm sorry? King? Is that what you're talking about?
Oh, no, I'm trying to figure out who the appeal is.
Oh, I don't know who it is. Here's the file. It might be Brendan Hanna, because he's the one that sent us the email. I don't see Amanda Duncan on this file.
I'm here.
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking for you on my docket.
Oh, it might be under King because that was the name that I had when the situation first occurred.
Okay, I do see. Thank you. I do see it, Amanda King. Is anybody here on behalf of credit acceptance? Oh, you're muted, sir.
Sorry, Eric Naslund here on behalf of Credit Acceptance, P42648. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Thank you, sir. Let's see here. Says here that there's a motion, and I'm trying to understand what it's ex parte motion to renew civil judgment. Is that what this is for?
No, I believe that was already signed. This is there wasn't a motion filed, but on the precipice for to get the hearing date, the defendant wrote out a pro se motion to set aside the garnishment, and we responded as best we could.
You said you responded?
The office of Rusin, Vartetti, and Olivier, the plaintiff's attorney.
Okay, I don't believe our office received your response. In reviewing the file, I do see her handwritten. Let me just double check. No, that's not for now. I do see a handwritten motion, notice of motion to set aside garnishment.
Yeah, I'm prepared to respond on the record to that. I believe there was a written prepared motion.
Okay, we're on the record in Credit Acceptance Corp. Versus Amanda Duncan, also known as Amanda King. File number is 1300417 GCE. Counsel appearance.
Again, good afternoon. Eric Naslund on behalf of the plaintiff.
Okay, and Ms. Duncan or Ms. King, you're not represented by counsel today, is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we're here today for a motion to address your motion that you filed, looks like on May 5th, says that you wanted to set aside the garnishment because the garnishment is for a vehicle that was repossessed approximately a year or so following
My divorce from, yeah.
it says your ex-husband was given the vehicle with full responsibility financially for said vehicle. I am being garnished and would like to fight it for the divorce paperwork that he should be the one paying the debt. Is what I believe that should say. It says debit. I have the divorce file with paperwork showing he was given the vehicle.
Correct.
I'm going to allow the attorney for the plaintiff to respond before I make a ruling.
Thank you, Your Honor. Briefly, I think the facts are clear that Ms. Duncan was divorced. I haven't seen the divorce papers, but I'll take her at her word. The problem she runs into, first off, is that whatever agreement was made in the divorce between her and her ex-husband is not binding on my client. She was a co-signer on this loan. And so while the divorce papers may say that he's ultimately supposed to be responsible for that, they're not binding on my client. They were not a party to that divorce action. So that doesn't negate her responsibility to credit acceptance. What her remedy may be, and I'm sure any attorney would explain this to her if she retained one, is that she has a right to go back and ask for contribution or file a separate action against her ex-husband to recover any funds that she ultimately has to pay or has paid on this debt. But as the garnishment stands today, it is proper. There's no defect in the garnishment. Her debt remains to my client, and she may have other legal remedies, but she should probably seek out an attorney to obtain those. As it stands today, this motion should be denied because from a legal standpoint, she remains liable for this debt, and there was no defect in the garnishments. And that's our position, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. So, Ms. King, unfortunately, the argument or the position of the plaintiff is not in your favor, but it's accurate. You're attempting to attack the garnishment, but really what you're trying to do, it sounds almost like you're trying to attack the underlying judgment. Either way, the court rules outline what circumstances you're allowed to make a valid objection to a garnishment, and this is not one of those reasons, ma'am. And although the plaintiff's attorney was nice enough to outline a potential remedy for you to seek recovery on your end, the agreement that you had with your former husband under the divorce does not absolve you from your responsibility under this judgment, okay?
Okay, even though like I was just I don't know legal stuff. So like in the divorce thing, it says he's responsible for all loan payments and he's not supposed to hold me responsible. And I would have presented this in the original when they first tried to come after me in like 2013. Had I gotten anything that said that you had a court date on such and such a date at such and such a time, I just got a thing saying there was a default judgment. Here it is, we're garnishing your pay.
Well,
I recognize that you got a default judgment on this. I do recognize that. Were you going to say that something, Mr. Naslund?
I would just object to any attack on the underlying judgment itself. The time has passed for that. That should have been addressed long ago.
I tried to contact Credit Acceptance when we were first divorced, and they told me over the phone that he had to contact them.
We can't both talk at once. I wasn't finished. This was not addressed at the time it should have been addressed, and it's not properly before the court today.
I'm not entertaining an attack on the underlying judgment. This judgment was entered in 2013, I believe, but it's been a long time. And Ms. Duncan or King, you've had plenty of time to attack the underlying judgment. And today, the date for the hearing on the motion to set aside the garnishment is not the time to do that. As I stated before, I believe your motion is really best serving to try to attack the judgment, and you're just well outside of the court rules and the ability to do that. So I'm going to deny your motion because you failed to provide the court with a reason based or consistent with the court rules as to how we can grant you your motion to set aside garnishment. You're going to need to probably consider another option or seek some legal counsel about your options as to how you can gain recovery under your order from the family court, but that doesn't have any effect on the judgment that's in this court, okay?
Your Honor, if I may briefly, as an item of clarification, may any funds that are currently being held be released to plaintiff's counsel? If there are any held?
That's correct.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have.
Did you? Okay, I don't think I see an order in the file. Well, let me see. I do not. Mr. Nelson, can you provide me an order under the 7-day rule?
Be happy to, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Duncan, you're all set for today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Mr. Sierowski here? He is, okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Keithley on mute? On the record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Francis John Sierowski. This is file number 20-00035. Mr. Sierowski, today is the date that was set for a arraignment on a probation violation. I have here a request in summons for a probation violation, and it alleges that you failed to make payments on your fines and costs in February, March, and in April, and that would be in violation of your probation status. It also alleges that you failed to attempt or attend moral reclamation therapy at PAPS. It alleges that you failed to provide proof of 12-step meeting attendance, and that you failed to provide proof of obtaining a GED high school diploma. So you have the right to have a contested hearing. You have the right to be represented by counsel during this violation proceeding. If you're found to be in violation of the court's order for probation, you can be sentenced to a term of jail time. Your probation status can be terminated or it can be extended. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Do you want court-appointed counsel, sir?
No, I have one.
You have court-appointed counsel? Or you have?
No, I have my own attorney.
Okay. Is your attorney going to appear today?
I believe he told me if he wasn't going to be in this Zoom meeting that he would be attending the next court date. He was in another court, and this kind of was in a spur of the moment that I had hired him. So
Okay, what's your attorney's name?
David Carter.
Okay. And you've already paid for him to be here for today, or he's gonna come at your next court date?
Yep, I already paid. Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay, so the court will enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf, and we will set this court hearing, and Mr. Carter needs to appear, okay?
Of course.
May 23rd at 1:15. May 23rd at 1:15. Is there? I don't know what you said after that, but what? Just Carter. No. Okay, we're gonna set it for May 23rd at 1:15. But if Mr. Carter can notify the court if that's a conflict for him, he needs to contact my court officer immediately, okay?
Of course, he will be present. and I'll have him do so.
I'll have my staff email him so he gets the date today, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. You're all set, sir.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. We're on the record in the matter. Oh, did I give you the wrong file? 18 dash. I didn't someone put this in the wrong file. Not the right file. This is the order I needed for the last time. It's in the wrong file.
What is it, civil?
Okay. We're on the record in the matter of Douglas J. Institute, Inc. versus Rashard Wrestler, file number 18-02708 GCE. Council appearance.
Deanna Swisher on behalf of plaintiff, Your Honor.
Ms. Wrestler, do you have an attorney representing you?
I do not, ma'am.
Okay, today was the date that was set for a hearing on an objection to income tax garnishment that was filed by you, Ms. Wrestler.
Yes, ma'am.
You state that the funds or property are exempt from garnishment by law. Can you provide the court with some more information?
I believe that state student loan offset has been extended to August of 2022. And I also have not been able to reach the plaintiff to come up with a payment plan for the future. They have not responded to me at all.
Okay. Ms. Fisher, did you want to respond to her?
Yes, Your Honor, yes, I'd be happy to. First of all, this is not a federal student loan at issue. This was a breach of contract action, and we entered a consent judgment some time ago. Additionally, we are not exercising an offset on a federal tax return or refund. We are instead garnishing state of Michigan tax refunds. So this is in no way affected by the offset suspension that the defendant references. Additionally, with regards to making any contact, we have no record of any recent attempt of Ms. Kessler to contact us, but we have communicated with her in the past with some frequency. She asked us to communicate with her via email. We proceeded to do that. After receiving her garnishment objection, I have tried a few times to call her on the only phone number that we have, and it continues to say that the number isn't available. So we'd be more than happy to speak with her, Your Honor. We make a habit of doing that. We request that the objection be denied and that the garnishment proceed.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Wrestler, similar to the last objection, a garnishment request that I just addressed while you were here and present, you need to provide a reason that's under the court rules that will make your objection valid. Your objection states that the writ was not properly issued or invalid because the plaintiff's student loan tax offset has been suspended. And that was not, again, as indicated by Ms. Swisher, the basis of the garnishment here. So you did not provide the court with a valid reason to grant the garnishment. And the other reason that you just indicated about they're not making any communication with you to try to create a payment plan, that's not a requirement under the court rules for the garnishment. They did have a judgment, looks like from September 2018. And you could have entered into some kind of consent judgment at the time. Looks like you did have a consent judgment, but that you didn't make payments on it. So if they already had an agreement with you and you didn't comply, you can't rely on the fact that they didn't call you for a further agreement as to why they can't now seek garnishment to get the debt that's owed. But again, unfortunately, this is not an attempt to recover under student loan tax offset, and this is not a debt that would be covered by the federal student loan. So I don't know if you all want to go into a private meeting room and try to discuss some kind of payment arrangement while you're here, but I am going to be denying your request for objection to garnishment because I don't have a rule, or you didn't provide me information that I can grant it under the court rules, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I would like to have a private conversation. I would like to do some type of repayment plan because that's a large bulk of money that I was not expecting to have to pay towards that. And I understand the fact of the matter that they tried reaching out, but she even said that she had my email and didn't even try to contact me. And I've tried calling the office and have gotten no return or anything. So I would hope for being able to speak with her to set up a repayment plan because.
Okay, sounds good. I'll put you in a private meeting room now and see if you guys can work through something, okay?
To talk.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. On the record in the matter of Astera Credit Union versus Tammy Salazar, file number 21-02061 GCE. Council appearance.
Thank you, Your Honor. May it please the court, Stephen Bequicchio on behalf of plaintiff.
Thank you. And Ms. Salazar, you do not have an attorney, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, today was the date that was set for a review. We were here on March 28th. You all discussed the matter privately and you wanted to resolve the matter. There was a motion that was withdrawn. So I guess this review was to see if it was to be resolved. It doesn't sound like it was resolved. Is that correct, Mr. Bequicchio?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Salazar has advised she's trying to work out an arrangement with a debt consolidation company and asked us for a little bit more time to do that. We have a valid and enforceable judgment, which we can, in fact, enforce. However, if Ms. Salazar would like to make a proposal, again, we're more than happy to entertain it and respond. We just haven't gotten one yet. And Ms. Salazar, do you know when you can provide one to us?
Well, I was asking I wanted to see if I could at least wait 6 months, if not 6 months, 5 months, just to get this situated. Because what it is I'm working with a credit consolidator and I had 6 accounts with them. I just finished paying one off in April. So what they were trying to do, or what we're trying to do, is build that back up so we can start paying you.
Your Honor, if I may, and to respect Ms. Salazar's time and the court's time and resources, here's what I propose. We don't have a motion pending. The motion was withdrawn. I don't think we need another control date here as we have a valid and enforceable judgment. And I would just ask Ms. Salazar to prepare a proposal that provides for a time frame, and we'll go about this the way we normally would outside the court's purview unless a matter is mentioned up before the court.
And wasn't sure what you all wanted me to do without anything pending before the court at this time. So Ms. Salazar, you need to provide them, Mr. Bakuchio and his client, some kind of proposal as to how you want to address this. You don't have anything pending before the court, and they're not seeking to execute against you right now, although they do have a judgment. But if you don't get with them soon to work out something, I can guarantee you, you'll find them trying to execute a garnishment on you soon. Okay?
Okay, I understand, and I apologize.
Well, you don't need to apologize, and just make sure you're in communication with them to try to get your proposal over to them as soon as possible. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay, any additional matters for today, Mr. Bakuchio?
Thank you, Your Honor. No, appreciate your time, and thank you, Ms. Salazar, for appearing.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Have a good one.
You too.
Okay, Ms. Swisher and Ms. Ressler, did you come to an agreement? Were they in a private meeting?
Your Honor, we weren't put in a breakout room, but I was going to suggest, I unfortunately need to take another matter. I'm going to email Ms. Ressler, assuming her email addresses remain the same, and that way we can restart communications between her and the collections paralegal she'll need to work with.
Okay, well, I'll put you in a private meeting room so you can exchange email addresses, okay?
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Do we have, what do we have in interpreter? Which matter? Sir, on the Galaxy Note 8.
Yes, Your Honor. My name is Abdallah Mukoma, the interpreter.
Okay. Which matter are you here for?
I'm here for Giordani, Masingo.
Okay, Mr. Masingo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is Mr. Masingo here? Okay, I don't believe he's present. So I'm going to issue a bench warrant and you're free to go.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay.
May I leave the Zoom?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I see Billy Malcolm.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Nagel, are you representing?
I am, Your Honor.
Record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Billy Joe Malcolm. File number is 21-03145. Council appearance.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amanda O'Boyle appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
Matt Nagel on behalf of Miss Malcolm, who is also appearing here today via Zoom.
Thank you. And today was the date that was set for pre-trial. How are we proceeding on this?
Your Honor, the city attorney and I have had an opportunity to speak briefly about this prior to today's pre-trial. We're going to request an adjournment in order so that we can arrange for a substance abuse assessment for Miss Malcolm.
Oh, I'll give you the Does June 27th at 9:30 work for you?
I'm checking. I think so. Yes, Your Honor, that's good for me.
Okay. Any additional matters for the record?
I'm sorry, one more time. Did you say 9:30 a.m., Your Honor? I'm sorry.
Yes, that's what I said.
9:30. Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Nothing from the defense.
Nothing for the city, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You're all set for today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. On the record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Keith Donnelly. I don't know if I see that. Is Keith Donnelly here?
I've not heard from Mr. Donnelly, Your Honor. I would note that on his other file before the court, he is on bench warrant status.
Okay, I'll issue a bench warrant on this one as well.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Malcolm, you're free to go. Smith here, Mr. Smith is here. Okay. Do I have Holtham Ertman here? Who's Brenda Cowles?
Yes,
Okay, do you have a case number, ma'am?
I believe so. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Ms. Wrestler, you're all set if you exchanged emails, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I just wanted to make sure to get clarification from you, Your Honor, that my tax return is going over to them.
That is correct. That you didn't provide me a legal basis to grant your request.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Ms. Cowles, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Your
I'm
Honor,
waiting for your case number.
it is 17-00245GC. Your Honor.
Okay, that matter has been closed. There's nothing but discovery pending.
I beg your pardon, Your
Cancel
Honor.
discovery. Okay, they canceled the discovery on that, so you're all set, okay?
So do I just keep making payments, Your Honor?
That's correct.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Have a wonderful day.
Same to you.
Bye-bye now.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Smith, it looks like Mr. Ertman is not joining us today. Find the correct file here, 17 dash. A show cause can issue on this matter.
That we'll prepare and submit to the court. Thanks for your help, Your Honor.
Thank you.
You bet. Have a great week.
You too. Okay, and Mr. Hentz, you're here on two matters. I do see Mr. Is it Ruger?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll put you both in a private meeting room. Okay, and I see Mr. Hannah is here. This one is gonna be a big one. Okay. Oh, okay, thank you. Please, the drain free trust statement. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Okay, Ms. Shaduma. Come up to the table there. On the record in the matter of the people of the city of Lansing versus Takudra Chiduma, file number 20-02080. Council, can I have your appearance?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Amanda O'Boyle appearing on behalf of the City of Lansing.
Okay, and ma'am, you can take a seat. Today's the date that's set for hearing today on a probation violation. Of a violation here dated March 22nd, 2022. that You were ranked on April. It alleges that you violated the terms of your probation by violating the additional probation terms as the amended order of your sentence went into effect on December 7, 2021. Says that defendant violated the terms of the Sober Week program by having a positive blood alcohol level of 0.053 at 7:48 p.m. on March 19, 2022. The defendant violated the terms of the Sober Week program by having an additional item in her mouth during testing on March 19, 2022. And then lastly, the defendant violated the terms of the Sober Link program by failing to test from 8:09 p.m. on March 19, 2022 until 7:26 a.m. on March 21, 2022. So you have the right to have a contested hearing, ma'am. You have the right to be represented by counsel. You, I believe, attempted to request court-appointed counsel, but you are not indigent, and so you were not granted court-appointed counsel. I think you were originally represented by Mr. Laydorf. My office received an email that you were not able to retain him for this particular hearing. So you are seeking to represent yourself in this hearing? Mr. Boyd, you can proceed. Mr. Boyle, can you hear me?
I could hear you, Your Honor, but I could not hear if Ms. Chiduma was speaking or not.
Okay, yes, her voice was a little low. She said she's seeking to represent herself
Okay.
at the hearing, so you can call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The city calls probation officer Brendan Hanna.
Okay, Mr. Hanna, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. You can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Hanna, can you advise the court as to how you are currently employed?
I am a part-time probation officer.
And is that for the 54A District Court?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you familiar with a defendant by the name of, I'm going to say this poorly,
Chiduma?
yes.
Yes, I am.
And how is it that you are familiar with that individual?
She's on my caseload. She's on my probation caseload.
Okay. And in the course of overseeing her probation, are you aware of any violations that occurred on or about April 18th of 2022?
April 18th.
Or a report was generated on or about April 18th regarding probation violations?
The only ones I'm aware of were generated on March 28th by Stephanie Kindle, her recent probation officer.
So as to,
I can,
were you aware of a violation that occurred on or about March 19th, 2022 regarding the SoberLink program?
yes, ma'am.
Can you describe exactly what occurred?
So the SoberLink program faxed over information, basically stating that she violated the terms and she had a blood alcohol level of point 0.024 or 0.053 on 3/19/22. My bad.
And is that violation, is that recorded in any way? Is there a video or a photograph taken when somebody participates in the Sober Link program?
Yes.
And based upon the image that was generated through Sober Link, is that individual identified as Ms. Chiduno?
Yes. Wait, yep, that's here on March 19th.
Okay. Were there any other violations that occurred on or about March 19th, 2022?
No, not that I'm aware of. With all the same violation.
There's an indication that there were additional items inside of her mouth. Are you aware of that?
Oh. Yes, I can see it here. I apologize for not really, completely knowing it was submitted by the probation officer before me, but I have the report right here.
Okay, can you describe in greater detail what the alleged violation was?
The additional item in her mouth.
Yes.
Violation. It looks like maybe fingers are in her mouth from the picture.
And what would cause that to be a violation of her probation by having something additional inside of her mouth at the time of testing?
I suppose that it would, obstruct with the device and could maybe do pop up with a false negative.
Okay. And were there any additional violations relating to the defendant failing to participate in the Sober Link program between the dates of March 19th and March 21st?
No. Except for she didn't test between 8:09 p.m. on March 19th until 7:26 a.m. on the 21st. So she didn't test at all on the 20th. That whole day.
Okay. And would the terms of her probation have required her to have tested on that date?
Yes, by the Sober Link program, you test every day.
Okay. All right. I don't believe that the city has any additional questions at this time, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Duma. Did you have any questions to cross-examine Mr. Hannah? No questions? Okay. Any additional witnesses from the city?
No, Your Honor, not at this time.
Mr. Duma, did you have any evidence or information that you wanted to present to the court in defense of the allegation?
I only have letters.
Okay, you said no, you only have letters from your therapist and that's it. Okay, and so I'm not 100% sure if it was your intention to actually have a hearing so that you can be heard about your circumstance, or if you were disputing the violations. Are you disputing these violations, ma'am?
No, I want to plead guilty.
Okay, you're not disputing the violations. Okay. So you have some information that you wanted to share with the court in reference to your situation. Is that what you brought with you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I would say based on the information, we went ahead and had a hearing, so I don't need to advise you to waive your rights because you didn't waive them in this case. You did I did take testimony evidence. So I think based on the evidence submitted, that there is sufficient evidence to sustain the allegations that you violated the amended order of probation in the terms of your SOBO link as indicated on the summons. And so I'll listen to any information that you want to share or any paperwork. You say you brought some letters.
Well, a couple of days before the violation, I found out that my grandma had a stroke. I was trying to deal with some anxiety I was having because of the situation. She's all the way in Zimbabwe. And I just couldn't handle it at that point. And I ended up getting hospitalized. A few other things happened. I was trying my best. Probation was going fine. I was texting regularly. It's just like, I don't even know what happened. I just spiraled. Just didn't go well.
I apologize that you're suffering with something that you deal with your family. I know how stressful that can be. I had my own scares this year with my family. I think that though, since you've been on probation, you've had a number of violations all stemming from alcohol. And so you have an issue, and I think you know that. But I don't know that you know how to address it.
I've been learning. I'm in 12 steps. I do 3 AA meetings a week. And I know it doesn't seem like I'm doing better based on that situation, but I believe I'm making progress.
Well, I hope that you would be making progress. From what I can see, this is a pretty thick file, but so thick because of the information that continues to come in. But you're someone who is professional, you're someone who has a very bright future, someone who is business savvy. I think you told me you were in fashion. Someone who has family support and community support. I think you submitted letters previously from some ministers in the community, some of which I know to be well respected, that you were working with. I know we've received information before or emails to the court that you may have been hospitalized and or in some treatment, but I never got any verification from that. I don't know if you have any of that verification with you. You've struggled with the probation, and originally I gave you a short term of probation because of the way you presented yourself. My hopes was that this was not something that was going to continue, that you maybe didn't have an issue as the assessment suggested, but it turned out to be the opposite.
I think prior to, if I may speak,
You may.
I think prior to me actually getting on probation, I was much better off than when I got on it because a few things happened in between time. And I wasn't really able to control that in that section of time. So it's just, I'm doing my best. I need to do better.
Right. I mean, you can't do better. You can do better. You can't do it by yourself. And if you're employing some resources, I know you say you were going to 12 step. You say you were doing AA as well.
Yeah, and they put me, I told my therapist in 12 step about what was happening prior to it even happening. So she knew that I was probably going to fail and she put me in outpatient. So I've been in outpatient for a month and a half.
Okay. And are you still an outpatient? Okay. And how's that been going?
It's good. I try to participate in class. I try to do everything that I can to be compliant and go to my.
Okay. Do you think you're suffering from some depression or something else that's causing the drinking? That's a yes. Okay. What are you doing to address that?
When I went to the clinic, they tried to put me on antidepressants and anxiety medication. I just didn't believe that was right for me at that time because it was making me throw up and other side effects that I didn't want. So my doctor has me coming in and she's going to try to readjust the medication, but I don't want to be medicated for it. So I'm trying to fight it like naturally before I go back.
Are you in any counseling? Counseling that's different from the information you submitted previously?
Yes, I have. I went to a neurotherapist.
Oh.
Things seem to be working out a little bit better with him. just schedule wise. I'm still trying to work my business and work full time, be compliant, and I've cut down my hours a lot. So I'm way less stressed than that.
Okay, so the recommendation here of probation was to terminate your probation and then to impose jail time at the court's discretion because this was your third violation, all the same thing being alcohol consumption, which is the issue that brought you before the court in the first place. I don't think that putting you in jail at this point is in the interest of justice because you definitely have a problem. Then it seems to be twofold. It seems like it's alcoholism triggered by some depression. Again, I'm not a psychologist, so I can't diagnose you with any of those things. That's just my impressions based on seeing you over the course of the last year plus at this point. But I know that you have a pretty strong community. Who is this that's with you? Who's this young man?
It's my cousin.
It's your cousin, so he came to support you today? Okay. I know you have a strong family support. And you mentioned before something about your parents and how you didn't want to put them through this, but your parents want you to be healthy. So I know that they'll do and encourage you in every way that they can see that happens. I'm going to grant you another opportunity to continue probation because I want to monitor and make sure you are continuing in your counseling and your treatment. I'm going to increase your reporting because I want you to check in with the court weekly. Okay? So that we can see how things are going, see if you need to adjust anything. You're still on Scram Tether? You're on SoberLink, okay. Okay, I haven't gotten any violations from SoberLink since these previous violations. So that's a good thing. But I just need to let you know that you can't outsmart SoberLink. They built some pretty savvy systems with the SoberLinks and the Scram Tethers. They can tell when you're manipulating or trying to do something to alter the results. And it doesn't serve you any purpose if the goal is to get you healthy. You want to be healthy so that whatever the talents and the gifts you have could be truly realized and you can be the successful young woman that you're intended to be. You can't be that if you're drunk and you're depressed, okay? I'm going to extend your probation for 4 months. And for the next 2 months, I want you to have a weekly check-in with probation. I'm going to have them schedule it at a time that I can join so I can get an update about your status, okay?
Is it possible that since I am on the SoberLink, since my grandma's kind of like in a touchy place, can I travel to go see her?
Your grandmother is in Zimbabwe? And you traveling with SoberLink with you, is that what you're saying? Do you have arrangements to go travel to see your grandmother? Or are you trying to go travel within the next?
That's why I came to the arrangement.
I don't have a problem with you going. You just need to provide the probation department with your travel arrangements. Okay, so if you have a flight, they need to get that information so they can know when you're leaving, when you're coming back. And then that needs to be adjusted as to your reporting because of the time difference or whatever, they can make those adjustments. You was gonna say something?
Will the SoberLink work?
I am not sure. We'll find out that they'll let me know for sure. Actually, is Mr. Hannah still on here? Mr. Hannah?
Hello?
Hello, I have a question. Mr. Duma is asking the court for permission to go and visit her grandmother in Zimbabwe. The concern is she's on SoberLink, and would it be effective if she's traveling abroad?
I'm not sure. I haven't used SoberLink on any people on my caseload. Stephanie Kindle had her put it on when she was, but I'm not sure if it goes internationally. I'd have to look into that.
Okay, if you can look into that, let me know. And let me know if there's an alternative option that we can place her on while she travels.
Okay.
Then that would be great. How long are you thinking you're gonna be going for?
At the moment, 2 weeks.
Okay, so I'll have to get an update as to the, what the options are gonna be if you're gonna travel abroad, but again, if that means we're moving it so you can go the 2 weeks, we can do that, because I don't want you to not take an opportunity to go see your grandmother, okay?
Thank you.
Mr. Hannah, if you or someone from your office can provide the court with an update once you find that information, then I can adjust my order at that time, okay?
Yep, will do.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm gonna continue probation and add an additional 4 months. Do you have any other questions today? Any additional matters for the record today, Ms. O'Boyle?
No, nothing additional, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We're off the record. Just give me 1 second while I address something else. Mr. Hentz and Mr. Ruger, were you all set in the private meeting room? You're both muted.
We weren't in the meeting
Your Honor,
room and we weren't able to communicate.
Why were
I'm
you not
sorry,
able to-
I got disconnected here.
Okay, I put you back in the meeting room and I put Mr. Hentz back there, but I guess he didn't know. You're both in the private meeting room now. You can go in there.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
No problem. Okay, I think that's all I have. Ms. O'Boyle, I'm gonna unfortunately have to reschedule our meeting because I have another meeting that was supposed to start and they just pushed it back because I wasn't available. So it's gonna run over into the time that I was supposed to meet with you.
Okay, so you would like to reschedule for another day?
Yes, I'm gonna get that information, or have Addie work with you all to get a new time because where's she going? I want her to sit right there. To